All right, everybody. Tonight is going to be our second Cognos analytics session, and this session is being recorded. And again, we're going to cover a lot of information, and you're going to need to watch this recording more than once, even if you were able to attend the live session. Right, so here's an agenda. We're going to cover today dashboards and stories, right? And then I'm going to talk about assignment 5, which is group work, okay? Now, quick recap. Last time we talked about sample claims and weather data, right? Which is over here, you see a partial data screenshot. So pay attention, this is what you're gonna need to do in your assignment 4. First, you have to summarize what you did in your previous assignment, right? Any data pre-processing you may have done, right? For your assignment 3, because for assignment 4, you're using the same data as for assignment 3, right? So here is the data that I was working with, and we looked at it last time, right? This data tracks the claims information, right? The vehicle information, vehicle owner information, and the average claim amount, right? So what we did last time is I showed you how to replace the missing data, right? So we created a filter where we filtered out the records where effective to date is missing, or in other words, the filter specifies the condition for the rows to stay. If the effective to date is not missing, we keep the row, right? Then we define the selectable filter that allows us uh, to keep only records that have policy type personal and vehicle size small. That was a selectable filter that you can turn on and off, right? Then we looked at replacing the missing values. Income has some missing values, and we replaced it with a column average, right? Then we also we also need to do the same thing for the monthly premium auto, right? And then there is our video. I created a video on how to replace the missing value for claim reason with other, right? Now, uh, here, this is basically a summary, and I created another video where I showed you how to create the data group, right? So sometimes you want to look at the column, you want to bin it first, like for example, the grade, sometimes I'm gonna be looking at, I'm not interested if you got 95 on the test or if you got 19 on the test. I'm gonna be looking at letter grade, right? So this is an example of binning, right? And the same thing we talked about, we talked about being in numeric and categoric variables. We talked all of that, but what we have not talked about. So let's take a look at this. We looked at data modules, right? Then we did the exploration. So if you look at this exploration in here, this is what we worked on last time. In this exploration, I have a set of what? Cards. And each card is a separate visualization, right? Here is a set of cards. Well, the problem is that it's not something that I'm going to present to my customer, right? So suppose that I'm asked to present it to the customer in a nice way. This is just a set of cards. How would my customer know where to look at first, where to look at second, right? Then I cannot just go in and select one data point here and the same data point to be selected in all other visualizations. Then I cannot apply a single filter to all visualizations at once, right? There is no connection between this. There is no way to apply the fonts. There is no way to add text, no way to add the widgets, right? So what are we going to talk about now? We're going to talk about dashboards, right? Which is our next slide in here. We create dashboards to present inside, and then we can add visualizations, we can add the images, we can add the text, right? We can make attractive layout. What I mean by that, you can change the font color, you can add the headings, etc., right? You may add text, and then it's also possible to reuse the same visualization from exploration workspace, and I'll show you. And then the dashboard has a view mode and an edit mode. Edit mode means when you're editing, right? But then if you toggle to the view mode, you cannot edit it, but you're previewing it as if the customer would see it. Then Also, so this is somewhat similar to exploration workspace. You could add calculations and you could add navigation paths and etc. Right? So this is similar. But what you want to keep in mind is that if you add the calculation in a dashboard file, it will not be available in another dashboard that create from the same data. So if you want your calculation to be available in all dashboards and stories, right, that use the same data, you want to add your calculation where? Data module, okay? You want to add your calculation in a data module. This is important, all right? Now, let me go ahead and show you how to create a new dashboard. And there is more than one way, but the way I would do it is this. First of all, let's close the exploration, right? So did anyone ask something? No, okay. Now here it is. So I'm gonna close the exploration, right? So over here, since I had it recently opened, it appears in my recents, right? So this was the claims and weather data module that we worked on last time. What I could do is this. If I click here, right? This is called the actions menu. And from actions menu, I need to select create dashboards. I can do it here, or I can also go to the my content and find this, right? This is data module and I can do that too, okay? Okay, so I'll do create dashboard. Now what is this? The dashboard, I have several options, okay? I can select top dashboard or I can select an infographics. Infographic is a single page, right? A top dashboard could have multiple tabs. Now what you have in here, I spelled it out, the differences on a slide here. So here I explained to you the difference between one tab versus the infographic, right? But both are interactive and you may use the predefined layout template, right? And it may change visual appeal of both of this, right? But what you cannot do is infographic, you cannot save it as a story, but top dashboard you can. So this is another piece that we're going to be talking today, how to save your dashboard as a story. You cannot do it as infographic. So that's the reason you ask to do the top dashboard for your assignment, all right? So what I spelled it out for you, I explained to you a little bit about these templates. So the first one, this is called the free form, right? And here out of the box templates. So basically the difference that if you use the non-free form, you can snap the visualization to grid, and I will show you, right? And free form is there is no predefined design. And if you select the template for the tab, right, it does not mean that you cannot change it. You are able to edit the templates. And if the dashboard has more than one tab, the tabs may have different templates. One thing to keep in mind is that the more you put on your dashboard, the longer it may take to load, okay? So just keep that in mind. I usually like to take 2 by 2. So I'm gonna select this template and I'm gonna click OK. So what do we see now? Anything you recognize, anything that looks familiar? Yes, it does, right? See this? I have here, what is this? This is my data, right? And every column in my data, it listed here. This little icon stands for the data type. On this one, remember, we created the filter that allows us to look at personal policy for small vehicle. And it's important to make sure that I use descriptive name, because if I click properties here, there is no way to tell how this filter was defined. I would need to go back to my data module and check what I did, right? There's no way. What else you see here is any calculated columns, etc., right? So that's still here, and you may still add new calculations if you need to. Now, what else you have in here is you may add visualizations in multiple ways. So this is the assistant, right? I created a video about the assistant, and this functionality is also available in the dashboard, right? So you can use it in the dashboard and add visualizations here. Over here, You can explicitly create new visualizations, so you can just go to this. Like, for example, if I want to do the, let's say, pie chart, I can just drag and drop here and drag and drop. But what do I mean the snap to grid? Look, when I was moving it, right, when I was adding the visualization, right, I want to make sure, look, I hover over that arrow, right? When my mouse hovers over that arrow and then I release, the mouse sees this, it snaps to this grid. That's what I meant. Now, there are some similarities to the explorations. Is this, when I click here, I need to specify what? The data slots, right? Remember, same thing, you have required data slots. If you don't specify anything in here, then you cannot see the visualization. Those two are required, right? So now what we can do is if you may, well, for this specific data set, when we did the model, the decision tree was splitting on a vehicle type as a first vehicle class as a first column in the decision tree that was used to split. So probably let's go ahead and take a look at the distribution of vehicle size. So here, vehicle size, that was one slice will represent, right? And a slice size, let's say I want it to be the number of customers. So I'm gonna do this, right? Number of customers. Now I'm going to close this. Ooh, okay, it's loading. Sometimes Cognos gets a little bit slow, but it's here. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that pie chart may not work well when you have a huge set of values because it becomes harder to read. And you probably want to use the bar plot or something like that, right? Now, what I have now versus what I did not have when I did my explorations, I could not change the properties. Now I can. Look, I selected this visualization, right? Over here, when I click here, it opens the properties window. You can change this color scheme if you wanted to. Then you can specify whether you want to see the legend. And I kept it on in here for right now. And then when I go to the chart, I want to display the percentages because I'm not interested in the actual numbers. You want to see the fraction, right, of customers that own specific vehicle class. So I'm gonna do the display percentages. That changes here. Then, okay, I don't want to change the label, but what I want to do is this. I can change the radius. See, so that's gonna do the different style. It's gonna do donut. But the properties that are available depend on the type of visualizations that you have, okay? It depends on type of visualization. Then when you click here, you could do the show title, and then you need to type the title in here, and I would just say vehicle type, something like that, right? Or the vehicle class, right? Okay, so you can add title. Another thing that you can do, notice that when you select this title text over here, you can specify the font color, you can specify the font size, and etc. Right? This is similar to what you used to in Microsoft Word, perhaps. Now, you can also change the text here. When you click on text details, you can change the text here if you want to, right? And this is just the general appearance properties. You can, if you wanted to, you can set the background and you can do the border, etc. So I'm gonna let you play with these properties at your leisure. I showed you one visualization, but other visualizations may have different properties, right? Depending on visualization type you're looking at. Now what we're gonna do is, we're gonna save it. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to save your work, because if now power outage happens or something, I'm gonna lose this dashboard. So you do the same steps to save. You're gonna click on this floppy disk and you're going to select my content folder, right? And then over here, perhaps I want to save it as claims and weather dashboard, right? Claims and weather dashboard. I'm gonna do save right now. Okay, so I saved it here. Now what else you can do is, I mentioned earlier that you may reuse your visualizations from data exploration, right? So there are multiple ways. So let's go back to the welcome page. I'm going to here, this is the claims and weather exploration that we did last time. And I'll admit I added something in there today. So let's open it up. Now, there are several ways you can do this. There is here, this is called the pins. Pin is like a bookmark, if you will. So if I like the visualization, if I want that visualization to be used in multiple dashboards, perhaps, I can pin it. So over here, I'm going to the list of cards and let me decide that I like something and I'm just gonna do the pin. So see here, that was our decision tree, right? And sunburst. And if I want this to be used in my visualization, this is what I do. See this over here? This is a pin and I'm gonna add it to the pins. Now it says processing pin. And once it's processed, it's gonna appear over here. See this? So now I've got two pins. Next, I'm gonna go back to my dashboard. Now again, to go back, I'm not using browser back buttons. Instead, I'm gonna use this menu because in this over here, right, it tells me what I have open right now. And I'm gonna go to my dashboard and I'm gonna do this. Look, this is a pin. I open my pins and I want to use this diagram. Look, I take this and I drag and drop. Now, I put the mouse on top of this arrow and then snap to grid. There we go. Okay, it's gonna be here. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to actually copy and paste. You can copy and paste, but let me save this first. One thing to keep in mind is that when you copy and paste, there is a possibility of losing certain properties. Well, it depends where you're copying it from, okay? Like if you're copying visualization from the story, perhaps into the dashboard, you might lose some properties that apply to stories, okay? So now let me show you copy paste. Hopefully it works. Now, here I go to claims and weather data exploration, right? This is the exploration. I'm gonna go back to this card and then I go here. Let me open any visualization. This one, this is a crosstab, and I believe there is a separate video on crosstabs because you were asked to do several different visualizations, something like that, right? So crosstab would have worked as one of them. So this is a crosstab, and suppose that I want this to be included in my dashboard, right? So there is a way to copy this. Well, it doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna cooperate, but oh, here, look, I click here and I click on copy. Let's see what happens. This is copied now. And now I'm gonna go back to here to my dashboard and let's see what happens if I try to paste it. Never know. Control V, Control V. I thought it did it. Yes, to see this, it pasted on top of my other visualization, but that's fine. What I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna select this and I'm gonna drag and drop here. Okay, but there's multiple ways to reuse the visualizations. You can copy paste or you can use the pins, right? Or another way, you can add the new visualization. It's from the here. This is a visualization library. You can just add the visualization and then you specify what you want to visualize. You can use assistant or you can also do this. See here, this is my data. I can just drag and drop the field if I want to, right? Like for example, I have the claim reason, right? Claim reason. I can just drag and drop. And I think this should either create a list. Well, it's going to look at the data type and it will try to determine the best visualization for me. So in this case, this is a list, right? So now take a look at this. This is what's going to happen now. If I select something from the list over here, collision, look, do you see that the rest of the visualizations are adjusted? So now I'm going to, here is the filters area. I'm going to close this out. I'm going to close this just so that you can see better. When I select collision here, the same data point get highlighted here. See this? When I select something, the same thing gets highlighted in all visualizations on the same tab. And this one is sunburst, right? It got adjusted. And in here, it got filtered out. The data that's being visualized here, it was filtered to show only a collision claim reason. All of these are related. So how do I know? I click here, and this shows me that all of these are linked in one group. All of these are linked in one group, right? So if I select a data point in one of them, the same data point will be selected in all four. Now what I can do, I have an option to break that link. So I click on this visualization, right? With this thing turned on, I click here and see this. I can do break all links. It means that this visualization will be standalone. It will not be adjusted. The data points will not be selected, right? Or I could add it to another connection if there was one, etc. Right? So right now I'm gonna just break it. Right? So this added group 2. Look how it's adjusted back. It's no longer filtered by collision because I broke it into another group, right? What else I could do here? This visualization, no, let's do actually this one. Right now it's linked to this, right? What I could do is this, look, I'm gonna click here and I'm gonna add this to group 2. So now this visualization is linked with this on top, right? The collision is no longer selected because these two guys are no longer linked, right? On the other hand, if I select collision here, right? If I, oops, I cannot do it right now. I have to leave this view. See, I have to leave this. Now I can. Look, if I select collision here, right? This top chart gets adjusted, right? Or what I could do is I could just clear filter here. If I clear filter here, but I select collision here, this guy at the top is adjusted, right? This guy at the top is adjusted based on what I select here. And this guy at the top is adjusted based on what I select here. Why is that? It's because this is how I specified. I broke them up, right? All visualizations are linked, but I can unlink them. I can split them into separate groups, right? I could do that. Now what I'll do is I'm gonna bring this back, right? So this will create new connection, but this will add to existing connection. And I'm gonna do one, and I'm gonna do this one too, one. Okay, add to existing connection, and I'm gonna do one. Okay, now I'm gonna close this. What you have in here, this is a filters area, and we're gonna look at the two. But sometimes I like to close it so it gives me a bigger area to work with, right? I have one tab, and I mentioned that the dashboard can have multiple tabs. To add a tab, I just click on this plus here. And as I mentioned, you may select a different layout, right? But I'm gonna stick with this 2x2. And if I select it 2x2 and I change my mind, not a big deal. If I click on this tab, right? If I click on this, I have an option here to change the template. So see, this option is to edit the tab title. This option is to duplicate, right? And this one is to change the template. If I click here, I can change my template, right? But you have to keep in mind that things will need to be readjusted. If I change template, it does not mean that my visualization will be adjusted for me. I would have to do some work, right? So this is my second tab. And what I could do is You can also copy visualizations, and I'm gonna do this for a reason. I'm gonna select this, and what if I want to copy? Let's see if it lets me. I do Control C, right? And if you have Mac, I believe it's a command line command instead of control. Okay, now I do paste in here. Oops. Yeah. So see, this is a visualization. I'm gonna put this here, and I'm doing it for a reason. Or okay, I'm doing it for a reason. I'll show you why. So now I'm going to create another visualization in here. But let's do this. I'm gonna paste it again. Right, I'm gonna paste it again and then change the type. Okay. So see this, if I can always change visualization type. This is similar to what I did before. I can take, this is called the focus mode, right? I opened visualization in the focus mode to change its properties. And in here, I can always do change visualization. So it kind of like has some recommended visualizations, but I can check all. So here I can do the bar plot. And if I do the bar plot, I need to specify the bar plot length, right? And what is gonna be the length? Let's say average total claim amount. That's what I want to do, right? There we go. So now I'm gonna minimize this. So see this, I'm doing this for a good reason, and I'll show you. So here I have this list, right, of claim reasons. And over here, I have the average claim amount for each reason. Let me save this again. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at the filters. There are two types of filters, so to speak. You can filter all tabs or you can filter a single tab. So let's go ahead and let's filter it by the claim reason. To do this, I have to drag and drop the claim reason into the filters area. Let's look at the all tabs filter. So here it is. I have this. This is a claim reason, right? I'm gonna drag and drop in here. Okay, nothing happened yet because I did not specify what I want to see. By default, it's gonna show everything. But if I want to see only hail, I'm going to check hail and leave the rest of it unsafe. I'm gonna click OK to apply and take a look what's gonna happen. My visualizations get adjusted here. I only see hail. At the top, I'm only gonna see hail too, but well, this is what's happening in here. The predictive model could not be created. It's because if I filter out the hail, the rest of the model has the predictive strength less than 10%. So this is why you're seeing it. Okay. But anyways, so what I did was I filtered to hail only. On this tab, I see hail. All other claims reason are gone. Well, now I'm gonna go back to the second tab and you're gonna see it's making an adjustment. It's taking some time to load, but take a look at this. I only see the hail claim reason. I don't see anything else. And if you click over here, all tabs, you see that you have a filter defined and it's applied to all tabs in your dashboard, right? Now what you could do is you can change the value, or you can remove the filter, right? So let's delete this filter. Okay, so now what you see is the visualizations get adjusted back, and tab 1 also gets adjusted back because this visualization was defined for both. This filter was defined for both tabs, right? On the other hand, if I go here and I put it in here, claim reason, and this time let's select scratch dent and click OK. So now I'm looking only at the scratch dent, right? And this tab in here is making its adjustments. And my tab 2, notice this, it's not adjusted. Why? Let's think about it. Because I applied the filter only to tab 2. Like this tab, see this? I don't see any filters here because I did not apply. I only applied the filter to tab 1, okay? So now let's close. Oops, let's delete this filter. Delete, okay? I'm going to delete this. Excellent. So now I'm back to what it was, and I'm going to save. Also, what you could do is there is a tabs property. If I click here, and if I go to the properties, you can change the color. You can change the color. You can also change how the selected tab appears. So selection indicator. For instance, if the tab is selected, I want to show the green line. So see, this is selection indicator. And I can change the title color and etc. Right? I've got a lot of properties that I can play around with. Okay. Now, what else are we gonna do? I'm gonna look at the slides too because, well, sometimes I just explain, but my presentation might not be in the same order as that slide because I have it memorized almost. Okay, now let's do this. I also need to show you how to do the text. So I'm gonna go to the second tab and I'm gonna go to my widgets in here. This one, widgets. And in widgets, you have a text. This is just like a free text. I can drag and drop this here. And I'm gonna put something like, I love data 610. I love data 610, right? And this is just the text. And for the text, I can also change the properties, the color and the size. And if I want it bold and the indentation, I can do it in this toolbar, or I can do it in here in the text details property. All right, there are two ways to do it here. Now, another thing is that you can add the image, but if you add image, you cannot copy and paste the picture directly. You have to specify the web URL. Okay, you have to specify the web URL. And what is this? Like, for example, if I go to Google and if I search for panda, right, something like that, and if I'm gonna search for the images of a panda, right? So I need to take the image URL, which is, see this, when you click on this picture, it's gonna open, right? So this is a picture, and I'm gonna do this. I have to copy the image address, right? So it's supposed to end with a JPG, something like that. So now I'm gonna go and add this image here, and then I need to put the URL. Let's see if that works. It's supposed to end with JPG. Oops, what happened? Okay, see this? So that's why some of the small things work better when they're created as video, because sometimes when I try, it's a matter of, okay, so over here, I should be taking this URL, right? I'm gonna do copy, image address, something like that, and then I'm gonna paste this URL. It's supposed to be pasting URL, enter. There we go, okay? So when I say to add a picture, I cannot just go and add the picture directly. What I did was I found a nice panda picture and I pasted the URL, okay? Let me see, check and make sure there is no, okay. Now, this is what you do. You paste the image URL, right? Another thing that you could do is you could add those widgets here, the shapes and etc. Right? You could add shapes if you want to. And to do this, you just do here are the shapes, and you can just drag and drop. And the shapes also have their properties that you can change, right? You just drag and drop. Come on. Oh, okay, here, right? And you can change the properties, etc., right? Okay, so now I'm gonna go and save this. Okay, so I showed you the widgets. Now what we'll do is we go back to the slides. Well, yeah, so we showed this, add widgets, and again, you can save, right? You always save the work, and you also have a way to return to the home page or welcome page, right? You also have these undo redo buttons, right? They're still here. So if I did not like the last change, I can undo. And I believe it goes up to the last time you either saved or opened. Well, there is a limit on how many undos you can do. I believe it's 20, but I could be wrong, okay? Now, this is what you can toggle between edit and view. So right now I'm in a view mode. I cannot change it, but I can interact with this dashboard. See this? I can still highlight a point here, and the same point will be highlighted on the same tab, right? I can still interact with my dashboard, but I cannot make any edits now. So sometimes you might be wondering, oh, what's happening? I no longer can edit my dashboard. That's because sometimes when you reopen the dashboard, you might be in a view mode. You have to click on this pencil here. Okay, I'm gonna save this now. Right, so now let's do that. I showed you the tabs properties. You can change the tab color, right? And also the default language. I'm keeping it as English, of course, right? And then the indicator color, which tab is selected, and etc. There is more. Here it just shows you there is multiple ways to add visualization. You can use Assistant, and there is a video on Assistant. You can use the visualization library, and also you can do the copy, right? And you can do duplicate. The same visualization can be duplicated, and then you edit it, right? Like I was doing earlier, I copied the visualization from one tab to another, and I edited it, right? And etc. And also, in general, you're not gonna do it now, but in general, it's possible to have more than one data module as a source for the dashboard. Okay, keep that in mind. So, and this is just the visualization library. It's just showing you here. You have to drag and drop. Okay. I showed you how to do it, and this is called the focus mode. So when you open the visualization, you can edit its properties. Remember this, if the data slot has an asterisk, it means you need to put something in there, or you cannot see the visualization unless you specify the column in there, right? If you see a little asterisk. And the rest of it, those are the optional slots. Now, I discussed the pie chart, and I also put this here, right? I did not show you how to add the title, but it's in here. It shows you how. We talked about adding the text, right? Then I talked about adding an image, although I used a different image. Now, I showed you that visualizations are linked and how you can break the links, right? Next, we're gonna do the stories, but I'm gonna do something else now. I'm gonna close this Flames and Weather dashboard, close this, right? And I'm gonna close this too. Now, what I did was I created a slightly different dashboard. So it's in my content. Let's assume that I'm taking your class. It does not matter which session I'm in, but I just named it. This is my dashboard. This is my assignment 4. So see this? I have several tabs in here, and I intentionally named it as Stin 1, Stin 2, Stin 3, and Stin 4. I named it intentionally like this, and you will see why. So here it is. This is the decision tree I have, right? Then in here, I just put the breakdown by the state, right? I have the state, and then I have the percentage of claims by the state, etc., right? Then I have another one by vehicle class, and then I have another tab with average claim amount. Well, I just put something, and in here I put an image, right? I put an image. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert this dashboard to a story, okay? I'm going to convert my dashboard to a story. First of all, what is a story? What's the difference? The story consists of several scenes. You can change how you transition between scenes, right? But here you cannot, but when you create a story, you can. Then, if you notice this tab over here, I have two objects on this tab. This tab and this one. This tab, I have two objects, right? When I open the tab, they both appear, right? I see both objects. When I go to this tab, I see all my 4 objects, right? I have 3 in this case. I see them all. Here, I see all of them. I see all what I have, right? In a story, you may specify if a scene has more than one object, You may specify when each object appears, disappears. Then you specify the duration, right? For how long you see it, etc. So let's do this. Well, first of all, this is what you're going to do in your assignment. First, you're going to create your dashboard. Then, when you're ready, only when you're ready, you need to create the story, because once you export it to a story, any changes that you make to this dashboard, they will not apply to the story. There is no connection, okay? So you want to make sure that you're totally done with the dashboard. And now is the steps that we're going to take. If you click on the arrow next to the save button, you have an option to save as a story. Now you're going to select the template, and I spelled out the differences between template also. Slideshow is going to look like it's going to look like a presentation, right? This each scene will they will appear in the same canvas, right? And here, when you have the set of scenes that slide, I need to show you it. I need to show you. It will make more sense when I show you. But let's go ahead and pick the slideshow here. And those are called guided journey, but let's keep let's pick the slideshow for right now. I'm gonna do select and watch what's gonna happen. Okay, now I'm gonna save it to my content. And well, demos is a folder where it's a folder in my content where I saved this dashboard. So let's just save it in the same subfolder. You can save, if you have a subfolder in your my content area, you can save stuff in your subfolder, why not? Now, what this did is this. See this is the name of the dashboard, and it prefixed it with the word story. And now I'm gonna click on a save. It's gonna create the story, and it's gonna put it in a demo subfolder in my content, right? This is what I told it to do. And I chose to open the story after it's created. And you will see this in here. I need to click, I need to expand. See this area at the bottom. If I expand it, this is what I see. I have 4 scenes. Each tab in the dashboard is now a scene in my storybook, right? So if I was going to go back to dashboard and make changes, the changes would not apply to my story. That's it, there is no connection, right? But what I have now is, I have these 4 scenes. A dashboard and stories can also be in a view mode and edit mode, right? So now I can do, see this is how I toggle. This is edit mode, this is a view mode. So now I'm in here in the scene 1, I can play it. See this? I'm playing the 5 seconds, and then it's supposed to transition to the next scene. I did not specify the transitions, that's why I did not. So this is a default, right? I did not specify what I want to do, but in general, see what I did was I spelled it out the differences for you. So you may configure when an object appears, right? And you may specify the transition style, but on this slide over here, I explain it to you. So when you have the slideshow, each scene is going to use a different canvas. But in a guided journey, the scene use the same canvas, they just slide. They slide when you play off, you'll see it. But you may, it does not matter which layout you choose, right? You might still apply the filters, you may still add animations, and you may customize the transitions between the scenes, right? And you may create both from dashboard and from scratch. We'll talk about from scratch as well. So now what we'll do is we're gonna go back, but let's see if I try to make sure that I did not miss anything, because I get, you know. Okay, now let's go to the edit mode. Well, what I could do if I wanted to, I can keep on adding scenes to this. So now I have 4. I can click here, and it will add another one, right? And right now it's empty. I don't have anything in here. I can drag and drop my visualizations, or I can also reuse my pinned visualizations. And also, I could duplicate this and I can delete this, right? When you create a new scene, you click here and you may select the template that you want to use, right? This is somewhat similar to templates we saw in the dashboard. So I could just do this one perhaps, right? So you will have a text here and you will have some visualizations. And for the visualizations, you can reuse what you did before. See this, I have a pin and I can drag and drop my pin in here, right? Something like this. I can drag and drop, but then I also need to work on resizing and etc. So those type of things might not be a good idea to show during a big session, but then I make it like really work well and do the recording. There's gonna be some small recording along the way. So your instructor will keep you posted, right? Okay, so you can keep on adding and keep on going, right? So now let's look at the scene timeline. So this is the first scene, right? I mentioned that I can specify when things appear, when things disappear. So I close this, I open this. Yeah, so you can specify. So see this? Oh, here it is. Look, this is a scene. I have to open it like this. See this? I have to open it like this. See, this is a close and this is an open. This opens the timeline. You see this? I have two objects in this scene. This one, it says my total claim amount, decision tree. It's a decision tree, and another one, this is a text, my assignment 4. So let's say when I open up the scene, I want to see my assignment 4 right away, but this I want to appear a few seconds after. So what I do, I drag and drop this here. I drag and drop. This is a timeline when I want this to appear. By default, it's 5 seconds, the length of the scene, but you can change this. To do that, you just drag and drop. You just drag and drop the end, and it will extend the scene, right? It will extend the length. So see here, I have decision tree that does not show immediately, right? So now I'm gonna close it, and later on, when I preview the scene, I'm not gonna see the decision tree right away, right? I can preview it here. It will appear, see this? I specify when to show, right? So when I play this scene, I don't see it immediately. It will appear later on and at a second that I specified. Now, always save, right? Then you've got the undo redo. The same thing as with dashboards, the visualizations are linked, right? So I can link on link, right? See this, all widgets are connected. If I have multiple visualization, if I select one data point here, I get the same data point selected in other visualizations. So in this case, I have a state, right? I selected Kansas, and Kansas will be selected in the rest of the visualizations. This is the same functionality that we saw when I showed you the dashboards. And you can also do the filters that apply to all scenes or to apply to a single scene, right? This is similar to what we looked at for the dashboard, right? And then here you can see the data that is being visualized, right? And here, those are the scenes, right? You could also change the different properties. Oh, wait a minute, we have a question. How to download the story? You cannot download the story to your local computer, unfortunately, but this is what you can do. You can take screenshots. For assignment 4, you will be taking screenshots. For assignment 5, it's different. You're going to be doing the group presentation. So you're going to be playing the story and discussing it. You'll have to do a video. I think it's up to 10 minutes, something like that. Yes. but it's an excellent question. You cannot download the story to the local hard drive. Well, first of all, number one, you're doing the work on remote machine, right? And number two, you cannot download the story from Cognos. Unfortunately, no. But you will have to take the screenshots and you would need to explain your transitions, right? You're asked to discuss why you would use a storybook. And also, I did not say this is an answer to homework question 1, this is an answer to homework question 2. I covered most of what you need to do for your assignment. So if you listen to the presentation again, you're going to find at least partial answers in the presentation. I don't explicitly say which question it applies to, but I just cover the information, okay? So let's see, there are more properties. Now here, if I want to play all scenes, I click this. See this? Before, I could not play all scenes because I did not have it turned on. So I'm going to go in here. And now if I click on the preview, it's going to play all scenes for me. So see this is the first one. Now it's going to go to the second one and etc. It's supposed to. Okay. Okay, but I think this property will apply when I actually go to the view mode. Right now, I'm still in the edit mode, right? If I switch to the view mode, then I should be able to see it better, right? I go to the first scene and see this is displaying. Now it's supposed to jump to the second scene. See this? This is what I did. So now take a look at this. It's a new canvas, right? A new scene is displayed in the new canvas. But the other options that is available, guided journey, it's gonna be, you're gonna have a set of scenes and the display on the same canvas. So you're gonna have it sliding. I need to show you. But first, let's look at this. Let's go back to the edit mode and let's look at the, I think we have to look at the properties. Yes. Well, see this? See this? This is a type. And I selected this as a slideshow, right? And I could choose the transition. I could do the like animated pass. So this is, we are still in the slideshow. And I changed the transition. I'm gonna go save. And I'm gonna switch to the view mode, right? And I'm gonna go in here. See this? And this is just gonna be, oh, that's because it's a last scene. I need to go back to the very first scene and you're gonna see the transition. Oh, I have to go to the first one. Sorry guys about that. So see this? It's playing the first one, right? Now see how it's gonna go to the second one. You basically specify what you want to do to change in between the scenes, right? You specify transition in here. Now let me do something different. I'm gonna go back to the edit mode. Well, and I'm gonna do something different now. This is the properties. I'm going to select the guided journey this time. Okay, this is a guided journey and I want to choose the layout. I'm gonna do this one. So now it got readjusted, right? And I'm gonna save it and I'm gonna show you what I mean. So it's saving now and I see this, what I did was I changed this to guided journey and this is how it's gonna look now. See this? And as when I play it, those scenes are gonna slide. So let's go back to the view mode and let's start. We're starting on the first scene. I'm gonna place it. So see this is the first one, right? Now it's done, it's gonna go. See this? It's sliding because they're using the same canvas. The scenes are using the same canvas. So that's the main difference, right? Okay, and you can specify the transitions and you can specify the timeline. This is what you will need to do, especially last assignment, all right? Because you will be showing this and you will be recording yourself, okay? The last team assignment, I'm gonna talk more about that assignment in a second. So I talked about this, right? Here I'm just showing you how to add stuff. Right? Well, I'm using different visualization here, but that's the same concept, right? I showed you how to export the dashboard as a story. we talked about this, that the tabs in the dashboard become the scenes in the story, right? Then there are also sample dashboard and sample stories, and I'll show you that too. But first thing first, let's close this. And this is an alternative way you could create the dashboard. You could do new, right? And then you can do this, I'm sorry, story. You can do new, you can go story, and then you're gonna choose a transition style. You're gonna click on create. You have to specify the data source, right? So you're gonna click here. You're gonna do select data source, and then you need to explicitly select your data module, right? I'm gonna click on edit as data source, and then I would need to keep on working from here, adding my visualizations, etc. Okay, this is how you would do from scratch. Now I'm going to close this. I'm not gonna save it. Okay, close without saving. I wanted to show you some samples. And in the team content, I remember I mentioned you have some pre-installed stuff, okay? Well, okay, for a minute, ignore this folder, for a minute only. Okay, so what you have in here, this is the samples that were pre-installed, right? You're not gonna turn it in for grading, but sometimes when you're trying to build your own dashboard, it helps to look at some examples. So what you can do, you're gonna click on samples here, and there are some dashboards in here for you to look at. As far as the permissions are concerned, you cannot edit this, but you can play them. I said the permission is called run. So run permission allows you to open this, allows you to run it, but you cannot make any changes to it, okay? If you want to make changes, you would have to save a copy to your content area. You see here, I can open this and I can just play this, right? You cannot save any changes because this is in a team folder and I took care of the permissions, right? So you can basically look at this, but see, I remember I mentioned that when you have more stuff on the tab, it might take longer to load, okay? So here it is, this is just a sample. You can look at this stuff, and there are also the sample stories if you're interested in. So those are the dashboards. And over here, see this here, it tells me where I am right now. So I click back to the samples, and there is a folder here with the sample stories that you can look at, okay? And again, the permission is run, so it means that you can actually run the story, right? It's a little bit more than a read, but you cannot make any changes to this. Now, next step is very important. Assignment 5 and the group work. So this is what I want you guys to do. Let's do it this way. At the end of week 9, you will be assigned in Leo, you'll be assigned to the teams. And this is how it works. The instructor is going to tell me which groups you are assigned, right? So I'm going to know the assignment. And I'm going to assign you to the groups in Cognos accordingly, right? So in fact, I already have the structure in place. What I'll need to do is just to put you in, right? So I'm going to do that. And after it's done, you will need to log in to Cognos and you will need to check your access to your group, and I'll explain it to you. But the way you're going to approach this assignment is this. In each team, you want to pick a team leader, one person, team leader, right? So what you have in here, you have the data set. You have several options for assignment 5. Where are the data sets for assignment 5? Remember this. Data 610, data for assignments. You have this folder. This is assignment 5. So as a team, whatever your software you use to meet, right? You can have a Zoom, you can use free Zoom version to meet, or you can use Microsoft Teams. You have access to that as a student, right? Right? So you want to look at this data sets, and as a team, you need to pick one, right? As a team, you pick one. Now, the team leader is going to take the data set that you picked and it's going to copy it to the group folder. And I'll show you what a group folder is. But your group needs to have a team leader. This is very important because you want to coordinate the work. You want to be working on the same data set, right? So, but let's see what's gonna happen. In here, I have a slide and I'm gonna create some recording for this, okay? So here, I'm just telling you that there are 5 data sets you may choose from. And if you want to challenge yourself, the life expectancy data and US news, those 2 data sets have some missing values, okay? They're a little bit more challenging, but interesting because US news, the idea is to predict the graduation rate. This is a real data actually, okay? Now, here, what you'll do is, okay, I need to explain to you the difference. What you have in the My Content area, this is only you can see, right? Team is people who have access to the folder can see, right? You're gonna need to choose the data set and you'll need to copy it to your folder, and I'll show you how to access the folder. So I use this naming convention. Well, example on the slide is for the summer, but I'm gonna show you what I did for the spring. So notice that, well, when instructor will inform you that the groups are ready, you're gonna log into your account, you're gonna go to team content, and you're gonna see this. You're gonna see oh, I'm sorry, I was in the wrong location of this tree. Here we go. This is my content, team content, sorry, and you want to make sure it says team content at the top because the team content tells you location in the subfolders where you are at. So now I'm in the team content. You're gonna see this folder, assignment 5 group work. Okay, if you don't see this folder, you submit a case. Okay, if you don't see this folder, you submit a case, but you will see it if I did it right. Okay, because, well, what I did was team 1 is already, let's say for this example, for the purpose of this example, I'm going to assume that I'm taking a course with Professor Maretta and she put me in the team 1, right? So what I already did as an admin, I created the configuration for the team 1 and I added myself here to the team 1. So this is what I expected to see. I see this folder, then I'm going to click here and I'm going to see the semester. This is spring 2021. The reason I have as a semester because people like admin, I see all of it. If I did not organize it in the folder, it will be a mess, right? So your TA Abel will be added to all teams, and instructors will be added to the team for the session that they teach. Okay, so here you're gonna see the sprint. Now in here, this is what's gonna happen. Session. If you log into Leo at the top, it says what session you're in, and this is a team number. So if you're assigned to group 1, right, like me, perhaps, an example, I'm gonna see this folder. I'm not gonna see something like session 9040 team 2 because I'm not assigned to the team 2. I'm not gonna see session 9041 because I'm not assigned to it. If by accident, if I see it, then what do? Submit a case, right? I'll take care of it. This is a no-brainer, but it needs to be done by an admin, okay? So you're gonna see this folder, and this is where your area is, right? This is the area for your team. What you save in here will be visible by your team members. Now, this is what the team leader is going to do. Now, suppose that I volunteer to be the team leader, and my teammates decided on the data that we want to use. So in here, what I have is here, this is the data for assignments, right? And this is assignment 5. And my team decided to use US news data. So this is a data where we predict the graduation rate, okay? Now, what my teammate would have to do is this. No, you cannot, okay, you click on this menu, right? And you're gonna do copy or move. You're gonna do a copy. You cannot move because you don't have a write permission in this folder, right? So don't worry about it. I took care of it. You cannot remove data from this folder. But what you have to do instead is you do copy, right? And you're gonna copy it. But where are you gonna copy it? You must do this. You have to go to team content, but you have to go back to team content and you're gonna go to the assignment 5 group work, and this is the semester you're in, and this is your team, and you're gonna do copy to, right? If you click on move to, you're going to get an error because moving secretly it's also deletion, right? Because when you move a file from one folder to another, you're deleting a file, right? You're deleting it from the source. So now you're gonna do copy to, right? Well, what this will do, you copied the file, and how do you verify that you actually copied the file? You go to your folder, right? So you're on team content. This is a folder, right? That's designated for your team, and you're gonna see it here. Now, if your team leader is unable to copy the file to your team folder, what you're gonna do? Submit the case, right? Because you have to have a write permission on this folder for your team. But this is a no-brainer to fix. If I made a mistake, I'll fix it. But this is a setting for the whole team. So if you cannot save, then your teammates cannot save also. The setting is set at the group level, and you add it to the group. That's how that works, okay? Now, what else the team leader is gonna do is this. They're gonna click on this here, and they're gonna do the create data module, and they're gonna save this. It's created data module, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna save this data module, right? But hold on, where are you going to save it? Think about. Are you going to save to my content area? No. Do you know why? Because your classmates, your teammates cannot see your content area. You want to have a copy of data in your team folder, and you want to work from that copy. Because anything else that you create, right, there is a dependency between data. If you're working from data located in your content area, then any visualizations that you put to the team area, your classmate won't be able to open them. Well, yeah, this is interesting because look, if the data you're working from is located in your team, in your area, right? But you try to put the dashboard into the team folder, your teammates won't be able to successfully open the dashboard because you have not shared the data. To avoid those problems, let's save the data into the team folder and work from that data. Okay, can we do that? The team leader is going to create a data module and going to do the save the data module, right? So you're going to go save as, and then you specify the name. But again, where are you going to save it? You're going to save this in a team content, right? You're now in a team, and you're going to go to your area for your team, right? And then we're going to do, you save something like US News data module, right? And then I'm going to be doing all my work. Now, the thing to remember is this. This is a group work. You may share the file with the group members. However, the same file cannot be edited by more than one person at the same time. Even if you log out, if you left your file open, then you have a lock on the file. Your teammate might not be able to edit it. So when you want to remember, we're going to make a rule. Before you log out, when you do the group work, before you log out, you want to close everything that you have open, anything that is in a team folder. How do you close this? If you click here, see here, you see everything that you have open. I would have to close this so that way my classmates can go and make changes, right? They can go make edits. Okay, and I wanted to mention, I'm not sure how to stress this, but there are a few things that not to do. I have this here, I have a data module, right? Somewhere, oh, my content. I have this data module, claims and weather data module. Do you know what's gonna happen to all my dashboards here if I delete this data module? What do you say, kaput, right? It's gonna be all gone. You know why? Because there is a dependency. The dashboards, right, and my explorations, they depend on this data module. Even if I create another data module with the same name, that's not gonna do it, okay? Because every data module, it has a unique identifier. So let's see if I can see this in the properties. So see this, I look at the properties, and somewhere it's gonna see, I'm gonna see that each data module, see this over here. This is a data module, and internally it has this ID, right? This is an ID that the data module has. And then any visualizations that you create, they are associated with data module ID. So if I rename this data module, I'm still fine, right? Because the association is based on this ID. But if I delete this data module, everything else will become invalid, okay? There is a dependency between objects, right? Similar dependency between users. Because I created all of you, right? So I'm an owner of you, so to speak. If my account is deleted, then there is a chain reaction, okay? So just telling you. All right, so this is in my content. If I delete this, that's it, right? Everything will be invalid. Now, if I take this and I share this exploration, if I share this exploration with my team, they might not be able to open it, because if I use this data module to build it, and the data module is sitting in my area, see, they don't have access to my area, they will have a problem with opening the exploration. But to avoid this type of problem, let's work from the data that is in your team folder, okay? Then there should be no problem. And you can save stuff in the team folder. If you want to, you can make a backup of files, because, well, no, this is a sad story. It happened on the day when the work was due. One of the team members deleted the file, and there was no way to restore it. So you want to be careful before you delete, okay? So because it cannot be undone, and you can ruin the dependencies. And similar, if I delete this data set, right? I use the data set to create a data module, then everything will be invalid. The data module will be invalidated, and the exploration will be invalid. Everything that you used, everything that you created from the data source, okay? So please be careful. I tell you what not to do, because, well, this is something that some student did, and as a result, they did not do as well as they would have in the class, okay? Because, if you lose your work at the end, it's frustrating. And you also want to be saving screenshots just in case. Just in case. Now, let's go back here. So here I'm just showing you how to access your folder, and I've been using the same naming convention. Okay, so that goes semester, and then it's your team. The team is based the session you're in, and group you're assigned. Okay. Well, this is basically how to copy stuff. Steps to copy the file into the team folder, right? When you click on the actions menu, there is an option, copy and move, and you just copy, right? So deletions cannot be undone. You're gonna look like this guy if you are not careful, okay? Oh, and this is an error message. Sometimes when you delete something, right, it's not gone from the recent. So you're trying to open the files that you deleted, something like that. But this error is common, okay? I just put a screenshot in here because I've seen it multiple times, okay? Now, see, this is a problem I was talking about. If you share the visualizations file, but you don't share the data, your teammate is gonna get this error. Okay, this has to do with the dependency. So to make your life easier, do yourself a favor, and please use the data that is saved in your folder, in a team folder, okay? Now this is a little bonus. We talked about the calculations. You can type your own code. This is what I'm doing. I just select, I want to, perhaps I have income, right? And I want to look at the income category, such as poverty, low income, etc. I just put a case statement. I'm just showing you that this is one thing that you could do. You can write your own code for the calculations. Well, we talked about binning before, right? We use the actual wizard to create the bins, but you can also write the case statement code to do that, okay? Now, let's see. I guess that was it. I went through it too fast, so let's see the questions. Let's see the questions. Because here, there is a lot of information that I covered, and I want to make sure that it's clear. And of course, I'll be making the small videos, but I'm open to request. If there is something that you want to see on a video, please request it, and it will be done, if possible. If possible, let's say. Like as an example, a couple people requested more explanation on Sunburst, right? So even though Abel handles tickets, I read them and I've read it and I said, two people could benefit from exploration. Then I'm thinking, maybe it could benefit the whole class. Let's go ahead and create a video. Well, things like that, I read. So yeah. Any questions? Because I can go in more depth in here. There are also, guys, two types of calculations which I did not cover. But now with having some of the content on the videos, I might be able to cover more stuff next time, right? Because see that that's something you might be interested actually for your when you work on your assignment 5, right? So just keep in mind that the calculation you can edit as a column, right? This is embedded calculation, or you can also have a standalone calculation. Like for example, if I want to do the average income, but I don't want it to be edited as a separate column, then you can do here, and you can do create calculation, and then I can say something like average income, right? Income. This is a single value calculation, right? I do this, and then I want to define it as the summaries, and I'm gonna do the average, right? I go average, then I go to my fields, and I'm gonna do the income, right? So instead of adding it as a column, I have an option to add this as a standalone. Let's see, okay, it should do it. So basically that's the whole idea. Last time, what I showed you was we created calculations as a column, right? But over here, this is a standalone calculation. So it's not stored as a column. You cannot use it as part of other calculations, but you can use it as visualization. Perhaps you can visualize average income per policy, etc. So this is standalone. And also, if you're using more than 2 data sources, the calculation may combine two data sources. So you've got 2 types of calculation, right? What we did before, you did embedded, so calculation adds another column, and this is a standalone. This is not in a slide, and this is not anywhere in any of the videos. This was not in any of the videos that stopped working. I'm aware that a lot of links stopped working, but what I just showed you, this is a bonus. It's not anywhere, okay? It's not anywhere in reading materials. I discovered it myself. So see this? So this is the standalone calculation. You cannot edit, like if I was going to create more calculations, you cannot use this as part of other calculation. On the other hand, if you use embedded calculations, then you can use it, okay? But this one, this is a separate. See how it's located above this table? And then you could use it in your visualizations too. But if I was going to create new calculation, right? Let's see if I do this. I don't see it. Do you see that? That calculation that I just did, it does not appear here. Because in general, I can use the calculated columns as part of another calculation, right? But not the standalone. So this is a standalone, okay? To create it, I click here, calculation, okay? So that way you could also do this. It's sort of like a way, like a 5-number summary. you can calculate the first quartile, third quartile, and have all of this appear here, okay? You could do that, and then you use them in your visualizations. I'm saving this, and you will see if I close this out, they will appear in my explorations, right? So my content, and see it's in here, claims and weather exploration, and I can use that as part of my visualization also. See this? This is the average income calculation. Then when I add my new visualization, right? I can do this. Look, I drag and drop average income, and then I'll edit now. So here, this is gonna show me the overall average, right? Oh, okay. This is the overall average. Now what I could do is I could change the calculation type, because right now it's doing the summary, and I can go ahead and select, perhaps I want to do, well, it doesn't really matter, but I can do the columns. Just showing you that. And now I'm gonna add for the bars, I can add this policy, perhaps. Oh, this is a group, right? It does not matter. I can add a group too. This is a grouped column. I can add it too. Now what it's gonna do, it's gonna do the average for this value. Okay? It can do the average. And this is how you can use a standalone calculation. You can use them as part of visualization. They are useful when it's a single value. And also you don't have to store it. You don't have to store it with each record, right? You store it once in here, right? So just remember that. And again, this is a bonus for attending this session and for watching this video. So you saw the standalone calculation, right? Last time you saw just embedded calculation. This is a bonus, and this is something that I explored recently, okay? A lot of the stuff is just basically through trial and error, or you could read something in a documentation such as filters, and then it could give you an idea on how to do something else. Like, for instance, there is no documentation on how to handle missing values that I showed you last time, but there is some documentation on filters, and I found the operator is missing. So I kind of like put those two ideas together and came up with approach to handle missing values. Okay, so some of what I show, I kind of like it's a solution. It's an what do you call it? You can call it a regional solution, if you will. Okay, so and here's the data you visualize. Something like, yeah, see this? That's the data you visualize. And this is a group, right? Remember, we created data groups, and a group can be used as part of visualization. So for your assignment 5, and actually for assignment 4, you may add this too. If you find it adds value, you do that. But assignment 5 is a group assignment. You will need to record the presentation. What you can do is one of your team members can create a free Zoom account. You get up to 40 minutes. Well, 40 minutes per session is free. But your recording has to be no more than 15 minutes for sure, so that's enough. And then you do the recording, and then you provide the link to recording. Easy, right? So let's see, questions. How would you find missing values without scrolling? Oh, yes, this is in the calculation, exactly. I can do this if missing. I can add another column that will serve as a flag. Like, for example, let me show you. There's more than one way to do it, but let me go ahead and show you. So I'm going to close this exploration. I'm going to go back to the data module. Okay, so claims and weather data module. Okay, so I can do something like this. I can add, so here it is, but this is going to be embedded calculation, because here the value will, I want to look at each value separately. I'm not looking at the overall averages, right? So what I could do is I can do something like, well, Right now, I might not have anything that is missing, but let's just make it up. Let's say if well, let's say if total claim something is missing, well, this is what you can do is look, I can do this. I can do create calculation, right? I do calculation. Now what I'm gonna do is this. I can do, see this? I have in here construct, and I can do then if then else, right? I can do if then else, and I can say something like this, if, and let me put, oops, and I can say like income or anything, right? I want to do, or let's just make it up. Let's just say location code, right? If location code condition is missing, right? Is missing, then what do you want to do? You can say something like 1, otherwise is 0. So that's going to create a new column with values 1 or 0 depending on this. And after that, you can apply the filter, right? You can apply the filter, and that will show you which ones are missing value. That's one way. There is more than one way to do it. I'm sure that if I ask one of you, right, you're going to have a different solution. So more than one way. But what I did was I created a new column, right, that has a value of 1 if the value of another column is missing, 0 if it's not missing. And then I can always apply a filter. Or if I wanted to, I could add a selectable filter that I can turn on and off. I know that's a lot, right? But it's a matter of, what do you call this, exploring the software in and out. Yeah. So it added, well, right now you see 0 because I took care of all missing values. But also if I go here, right, if I click on filter, it's gonna give me the set of values that this column has. That's another way that I have not thought about. If you click here, if you see filter, that's gonna show you the values. So in here, well, in this case, it's just 0 and 1. Okay. But sometimes when you click here, well, if the column is a continuous number, it's going to show the slider if it's a numeric. But if it's a set of categorical values, then it's going to give you the set of values. It's going to list the set of values for categorical values. But if it's a continuous, you're going to see that slider, and you can apply your filters this way too. But you can definitely add the calculation. So if there were missing values, you would have seen it here. Okay. So I hope I answered the question, because see, there is more than one way to do something, but I like this question. And I'm gonna take a note on this, because sometimes when I see excellent questions, I may need to turn the answer into a video or something like that. So like there was a question about something. Well, there were some good questions in the tickets. So I said, okay, well, maybe if one person needs more information on this, maybe this could benefit the whole class. So and I said, okay, Abel, I'm gonna work on the video and then announce to the class that it's there. I'll be adding videos for sure. Okay, but you need to let me know which topic you want to see in more depth, because then it will help. Okay. What is? Would it have said no? Well, I think so. I think it might. I would have to look at specific examples then. I would have to look at specific examples. Oh, let's do this. Let's do this. I know what I'm gonna do. Okay, let's close this and let's find out. Sometimes when I come up with this type of questions, this is what I do. Look, I have this data set, right? This is a data set original. Let's do this. Let's create data module. Okay, I'm gonna create new data module. This is a no-brainer, right? So far so good. So this is a new data module from the data. I did not treat the missing values, right? So what I know is that I have missing values on a claim reason. I have them. So let's find the claim reason and let's see what happens. No, but this is an excellent question. So This is what I do sometimes. I ask myself these questions and I look, okay, now I saw the claim reason a second ago. Okay, so what I need to do right now, and I'll find the claim reason, and then here it is. Oops, now I'm gonna click here. Let's see what happens when I do filter. I want to see what's gonna do. It's unpredictable, but it's loading now, and we'll have an answer for you. See this? If there are missing values, this is gonna say null. So guys, let me explain to you what I did. I just took the initial data set and I created a brand new data module where I have not processed the null values. The question was, how do I know if the column has missing values without scrolling through the data? So now I looked at the categorical column, right? I right click and I select the filter, claim reason. And over here, do you see this? It says that it has null, right? And if I do this, it's going to show me everything that's missing, right? It's going to filter out what is not missing. Oh, for the numeric, yes, let's look at the numeric. Thank you. This is an excellent question. Let's look at the numeric. So numeric is going to be, what was it, the income or something like that, because I remember we handled the income missing values. Oops, where is it? Yeah, so I need to be income, right? Do you see it? So I know that income has it, and maybe monthly premium author also has it. So here it is. I right click this, and let's see, I'll go filter. Let's see what it does. I think it should have it as a, let's see what happens. Because for the numeric, it usually gives you a slider. And see this? Include null values. You see this. If it's a numeric, you're going to see this, include null values. And you can exclude. You can specify the range, and you may also specify to include the rows with missing values. You can do that too. Okay. Well, you could, but the thing is, you want the work to be reproducible. You want to explicitly define the filter. Oh, yes, thank you. Yes, thank you. A good point. Sorting the column will put missing values at the top. Excellent. Oh, excellent. So see, I see excellent ideas here. You can sort it, but it also depends if you sort ascending or descending, okay? This is excellent. So what I'm saying is that we have multiple ways to do things. So if you sort, yes, it can put it to the top, but it also depends if you're sorting ascending or descending, yes. This is excellent too. There is there are more ways, okay, to do this. So yeah, I'm not sure why it's not. Okay, but anyhow, if you have missing values, yes, you can sort and then it will put them at the top. That's another way. So you've got more ways to look at the same thing, right? So let's see questions. I like questions. Please challenge me. No, because all the time, this is how I learn. I've been questioning myself about this thing. You all have to one and only one sorted column in order for this to work. Oh, yes, that's right. Yes, this is right. Right. You can only do it by one. Yes. Yeah. So this is a limitation. There is more than one way to do something, but each approach has its own limitation. Okay. Oh, I'm sorting it by two. I see. Okay. Yeah, that's why. I have to unsort it because this is a second column that I use for sorting. I would have to do no sort. Excellent catch. Yeah. Okay. Yes, I would have to clear all the sorts for this to work. Yes. Thank you so much for this tip. Yes. See, so it's a matter of you're gonna be coming up with your solutions too. As you work on these assignments, you will see something that maybe I may not have explored yet. Okay. And sometimes You explore things as a matter of accidental drag and drop, perhaps. You drag and drop something, then you go, aha, this is what else you can do, you know. Sometimes it's an accident, and then you see more ideas, right? So I showed you more stuff today, right? Questions? Challenge me. Challenge me. Instructors are allowed to participate too in questions. Okay. Would you be able to make a short video about writing a case code? Excellent. So I'm gonna put it on my list. Okay. Case. Okay, I'm adding it to my list right now. Sure. I'm gonna create a video about the case here. So what I did was I'm creating sort of like list of I'm taking requests. So let's say instructors may request also. So just let me know, and I'm making a list of videos. So I'll create case, and there's gonna be some stuff too. What is the difference between creating a story? Oh, okay. I did not create the story from exploration. I created the story from the dashboard. So if you create the story from the dashboard, this is a shortcut to get your assignment done faster. Because, oops, let's close this. I'm not saving this. Because when you, well, for your assignment, you have to create a dashboard and a story, right? When you create a story straight from the dashboard, that's it. Every tab in the dashboard becomes a scene, right, in the story. But if I create it from scratch, then I have a lot of homework to do. If I create it from scratch, then I have to, well, of course, I have to select my template, then I have to click create, then I have to specify my data, right? I have to go to the source, I have to find my source, right? And I have to go and look for, it's going to be in my content, and it's going to be the claims and weather data module. I have to add the source. Now I don't have anything in here. So I have to work from the very beginning and keep on adding a slide at a time and visualization at a time and etc. Right? But when I created my story from the dashboard, I already had a lot of work. So I could just go ahead and reuse the work, right? I just saved it, and I had 4 scenes already. Because I could have each tab of my dashboard to become a scene here, right? That's an option. So I'm not starting from empty page, right? If I start from empty page and I have a deadline for assignment, I might not be able to finish it. Yes, that's right. That's right. The dashboard cannot have the story line over the time. That's right. But what I'm doing, I'm going from dashboard to a story. That's right. Because yes, so dashboards cannot have a timeline. Story does, right? You put the things in a sequential order, and you can also change order, right? But a dashboard is a starting point, and then you use that to convert it to the story. Well, because it saves you some work. Well, you can start from scratch if you want to. That's a good exercise, but you also want to make sure that you get it done. Well, maybe for assignment 5, you will be adding some stuff from scratch. Maybe, yes. Yes, that's right. So you do first the dashboard, then you can do the story, and you specify the transitions between slides and when things show, don't show in each slide, right? A scene rather. I should use correct vocabulary. It's a scene, right? And you specify the timeline. I showed you how to specify the timeline, etc. Okay? Yeah, because well, I covered a lot. And as you do more of this, you discover some features that you have not seen before. Yeah. So sometimes I question myself, what if, and then I go and I try it, right? Because if I have this question, someone else might have this question. Okay. And yes, you're more than welcome to request if there is something you're interested in, and if it can be done, I can create a video. Because it's a customer service, so everybody is a customer, and instructors may request also. Yes. So let's see. Anything else? Guys, it's your time for questions. I like questions, so, right? And let's say, if instructors have anything, do students need to submit a ticket? Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. You could. You could. That's a good point. I think it might help to do that because we want to track everything in Salesforce. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Yeah, but also let me know the ticket number because, let me know the ticket number to kind of like get my attention. And speaking of tickets, guys, please make sure that you follow the instructions and you select correct ticket type because if you don't select the correct ticket type, your ticket goes to the wrong queue, right? And then it's gonna take some time for them to direct the ticket to the right place because if you look at this, I'll show you. So this is a Salesforce, right? So if I go to cases, right? And if I choose the cases that were created today, you take a look at the Salesforce, how many cases were added just in a single day, because this is used for financial aid, it's used for advising, for everything. So if you choose the wrong case type, it's going to go to the wrong department, and there is no way for TA to go through 2,000 or thousands of new cases to find your case. On the other hand, if you specify correct case type, then it's gonna appear in the right queue. See, it's gonna appear this is the right place. See, those are the cases that have not been picked up yet for the data. Well, or cases that have been, well, there are other reasons, but this is from today. See this? They're gonna see it in the right location. But if you don't specify the case, if you don't specify the VDA for case type, it's gonna go to another end of the world, and they have to find where to forward it. And if it's on the weekend, sometimes we might not get it until Monday because the help desk people are closed. So this is important, right? Yes, yes. Instructors do not get access, right? Instructors don't have access to Salesforce, that's right. However, what we can do is that we can include instructor on email if you want to. And another thing is this, guys. If you run into a problem with submitting the work on time, what we can do to help your instructor with making a decision is if you have a case on file, I can tell your instructor the case number. So that means that you had a technical problem and you were working with TAs. Well, this will help instructor make decision if you get an extra day without penalty, late penalty. Well, something like that, because did you ignore, why is your assignment late? Did you ignore the assignment, or you have been working with a TA on the technical issues? Like we had somebody who had trouble, technical issue with accessing an account. So the instructor was aware that the student had a case open, right? So we work together with instructors. If you have a case open, we're gonna let the instructor know, and they're gonna make decisions accordingly. So that's another reason for reporting issues, because then it will be tracked and you have a proof that you were working on assignment. Well, I know it might be common sense what I'm talking about, but sometimes we don't realize, okay? So if there is an issue, yes, you need to talk, yes. Huh? Oh, okay, we have a question. Hold on. Still not clear about what? Oh, numerical nulls. Well, uh, so you're not clear what I'm trying to see what the question is about numerical nulls. Yeah, you can use the filters. You can use the filters to see, because well, you can use the filters to, you can specify the filter to see if this is missing, right? Before, to remove the rows with missing values, I said not missing. You can do missing. You can define a filter such as like missing, and then it will show you what only the rows where it's missing. Well, null stands for missing values, right? So I'll look into it more, and I'm trying to see like exactly the question, because then I can. Okay. So yeah. Okay, no problem. So yeah, but if you have questions, yes, please pose them, because then we have a proof for your instructors that you were working on assignment. You did not ignore the assignment, right? Or like somebody who lives in Texas, they had the issue last week, right? Yeah, but I mean, now when you got your power back, if you're submitting ticket, it means you're back to work. You're working it. Okay. Oh, sometimes when you create a group and data module, when you get back to exploration, you cannot see it well because you need to close the exploration. Before you add something to data module, you need to close the exploration, and then to see it, you have to reopen. So if you make a change to data module, you cannot see it in exploration. That's correct. You have to reopen it. Then you will see it. Okay? I hope it makes sense. Okay? Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. Okay? So, and guys, keep, I mean, if you would like a video on something, please let me know. I'll see what I can do. I enjoy doing it, so, you know. Okay? So, next you're gonna work on assignment 4, and then you'll be notified for your assignment 5 teams. Anything else that instructors want to add? Any instructor? Oh, the short videos are helpful. Yes, that's what I thought, because then to find the material, perhaps I want to see how to do the spiral model. I don't need to scroll through 2 hours presentation to find where it is there. That's right. Okay. Okay. So I guess, oh, most welcome. We're gonna call it a night then, and I'm gonna give you the slides, and I'm gonna give you this recording, and I'm gonna work on the next set of videos. Okay. So let me do the stop recording, and I'm gonna stop recording.